the Millennial Edition. Just gonna call it
Okay,
Kale and
listeners,
Soy.
I must inform you that was not the real Spyro Agnew.
Alright, I'm playing the intro.
I love this intro.
Supposed to have these on.
Kale and soy.
Did he really put
Millennial Edition.
This is how our meeting works.
One of the mics is on, so one of us can be barely heard.
Yes.
Armin, you're clever.
Ah.
I can hear it.
All right, we are live here from Center Right Radio. I'm Alice Latta here with the Chips and Salsa Show. We are here every Saturday at 4 p.m. And noticeably absent from the microphone is my good buddy Don Jorge, George Ortiz. He had to work, man, because you know he's the hardest working guy, hardest working Republican guy in Arizona. But he'll be back soon. But in his place, we welcome back to help me co-host Johnny Melton.
It's great to be back. I am the least busiest working GOP activist on Saturday, so I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, you did a great job a couple of weeks ago. We
Thank
thought, you
you.
know what, we're going to have him come back. And you did a really wonderful job is about helping us promote the show. So that reminds me, if you're out there and you're watching us on Facebook, please help promote this show. It's going to be a very, very good one. I'm going to introduce to you in just a few minutes our special featured guests. Crew, Central Republican, I did it again. College Republicans United. I have a shirt right in front of me and I still said it wrong. College Republicans United. And the president gets to be here this time. Last time he wasn't. He was a little sicky poo. So we're going to talk to them in just a moment. Just hang on real quick because I want to make some announcements. I don't want to forget. We have some really cool birthdays that I want to talk about. Do you know who Art Olivas is?
I do not.
Duty? Okay. He is a Republican Latino activist. And you guys need to meet him. I think he turned 81 today, but you wouldn't know it. He is a ball of fire. Anyway, happy birthday, Duty.
Happy birthday.
Wherever you are, happy birthday to you. Our good friend Brian Kite. You know Brian?
I do not.
You don't know Brian? Okay. Well, you need to meet him.
I don't know anybody on the East Valley.
You don't? Okay. Well, actually, Brian is from Tempe, so that's kind of East Valley, yeah. And he's been around a long time, so happy birthday, Brian. And coming up, we do have some good supporters' birthdays, and that's Jeffrey Jablonski. And he is a super dynamo realtor, good friend of mine, and Jeff Utsch, who is, do you guys know Jeff Utsch at all? He is a Constitution expert, and he's been on the show before. He's based in Tucson. And then one last thing I want to wish is a happy anniversary to my brother, Ernest, and his wife, Yoli, coming up here real soon. So they're going on, it's over 50 years, that's what I'll tell you. So, and first and only. You guys got any birthdays, anniversaries, anything that we need to, no? Nothing? Boring.
Other than the Star Trek
Yeah.
turned 52 years
I know.
old a couple weeks ago on September 8th. Star Trek, but for you millennials, that was a show about space travel.
On TV.
So, yeah, it was on television. You couldn't, wasn't stream or anything like that, but I'm boring you, so.
And I watched that show.
I prefer Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. You can leave now. So.
When I watched
I
that
got
show,
bullied in high school.
when I watched that show, do we have that gal here? Never mind. It was actually on a black and white TV for some part of it. That shows you how old it is. That was a long, long time ago.
Should you just tell them what black and white TV means?
Do you know what black and white? That means no color, just black and white tones. Yeah,
Interesting.
in the promo, Armin actually made some of our promo black and white. So if you don't know what that is, youngsters, whippersnappers, go and see that. Okay, let's see. I also want to remind me to tell people about the update on the No Trains. There's a South Phoenix light rail debacle that's happening. And I want to bring you up to date on that maybe the College Republicans United would like to get involved with that, I'll bring you up to date on that too. And our good friend Monica Yellen, she is going to be doing some stuff for our friend Moses Sanchez. Moses Sanchez is running for the mayor of Phoenix. He's a fantastic candidate. Oh, dang it! I need to bring a sign and bring it in. But we're going to have she's going to have a phone bank for him.
Oh, when is that?
We'll give you information on that. That's going to be on October 8th. It's going to be at the AZGOP. And I'll give you her email and everything. So if you're interested in helping her out and making this a big deal. Oh, 2 more birthdays I forgot. Senator Kate Brophy McGee, her birthday's on Monday. And she's a Republican running. I think it's district, is it 28? Do you remember? I can never get that district right.
Is it 20 or 18?
It's in Central Corridor. It might be 18.
Yeah.
I bet you're right. And also my good friend Lynn Henry, who is in LD 27, a precinct committee woman. Okay. We also have later in the show, we're going to have Jeff Prather with the Prather Point, as well as, I don't know if we're going to have the cocotazos. I didn't get them from Sonia. I don't know
We'll
if...
make them up on the
Oh, I have
Okay.
a good
You
nominee
have a good
for
one?
that.
Okay, so we'll just have to kind of make them up on the fly. Right on. Okay,
yeah.
great. Incredible intern Armin is on there. And I
Yes.
want to apologize. Last weekend, we were having some technical difficulties. So for like the first 15 minutes or so, we weren't on the air. So hopefully we are now. And if we aren't, we're going to try to monitor the Facebook site. So let us know, and we'll try to fix that as soon as we can. I want to give kudos to Julian Allison, our head
Yes.
technical director, who takes care of us as well. Okay, I think that's all the announcements. We got all that stuff taken off. And you know what, Johnny, you're an X-Gen. I really thought you were a millennial. That's how young I thought you were.
Yeah, I figured. So yeah, I mean, as an next gen, of course my job is to, throw shade, or was that? Am I
Cast
using that right?
aspersions.
Aspersions upon both boomers and millennials, and so. But I aged well. I don't know why.
Yeah.
In the sun and
And you are from here. I mean,
I'm
you've
from
spent
here,
your
yeah.
time in the desert.
no, inside mostly.
Okay,
I'm not
that's-
an outdoor cat, so.
That's a secret to do that. You wear hats and all that, everything. Sunglasses. Very good. Good job.
And stay in the dark.
It's in the dark. He's a vampire. We don't know. Okay, so we're going to get started. Oh, you are also, I wrote here because I want to remember, you are a Republican activist with the best hair, too. I always like to say that. The best hair. He's got the best
Anthony
hair.
Kern said that,
Yeah.
so you can take that to the bank.
Okay, so did you know also September, this is Hispanic Heritage Month. So this is the first time you've listened to our show. I want to remind you that one of the biggest reasons that we exist, George and I used to be Democrats, but we are American Latinos, and we are here to prove that, guess what? Republican Latinos do exist. Minority Republicans do exist. Women Republicans do exist. So we're here and we're going to stay here. And young Republicans, like we're going to
Yes,
introduce here
that
in one
is true.
moment,
Outstanding.
exist as well. Okay, so we would like, without further ado, to introduce to you our very good friends, CRU. They like to go by CRU, College Republicans United. Welcome! Yay! All right, we're going to start out with introducing Rick Thomas, President. Say hi and give yourself a few bullet points about who you are.
Sure. My name is Rick Thomas. I'm the founder of College Republicans United. We were part of the College Republicans years ago, and we decided to form this club really as a recruitment to a lot of disenfranchised Republicans on campus. This might be like a shock to hear this, but there are conservatives on ASU campus. They do exist.
They do.
It's just that they're not catered to. There's an untapped market out there. And I think that our club in particular has really gathered from the energy that exists, and it culminated into our club, and we've been pretty successful so far.
That's amazing.
Nice, very
Yeah.
good job. And then we also have Chase is here. He's the secretary. You want to tell
Hi, yeah,
people
I'm
about
Chase.
you?
I was recently elected secretary in a special election because a good friend Darian moved to Spain for just a trip, right? He's not going to be there
He's doing a
forever.
foreign exchange program for a year.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, it was actually Armin who introduced me to the club. He brought me to my first meeting in January.
Oh, your
and
fault.
I've liked him ever since. It's a pretty
Nice.
good group. I like that they don't, we don't pick and choose who we let in. It's more so if you're right wing, you get let in. Everyone still gives me shade for being a registered libertarian, but
Oh, that's
And you-
right. You're the
you're
libertarian.
Yeah, the
yeah, I'm
libertarian.
also part of the UK Independence Party.
Oh, you're everywhere.
Yes, strange as it is, they let foreigners join just for the financial support.
Yeah.
That's a good model. That's a good
So
model.
we have allies across the sea, and we're in a common branch
Across the
together.
pond.
Across
Wow.
That's
But
the-
to
I
be-
think I actually
Right
left at home this time,
terminology.
sorry.
To be a member of the club, though, you need to be.
Oh, no, here it is.
You are okay with Republicans and independents,
Yeah.
libertarians, but
Party.
no Democrats. I hope you don't let
No,
Democrats.
well, there's a lot of like former Democrats, people who maybe
They can be
identified-
former.
Yeah.
who identified like you at one time with the Democratic Party, but feel like they aren't catering to your needs anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have kind of seen maybe the light or been red-pilled since then.
Or if they feel like, they have an interest in looking at conservative values and they want to see what's going on, we'll try to lend them a hand, just tell them, what kind of principles we support, what the party's for, and try to guide them more in a, right wing, come to the right and kind of leave the left and, kind of help them with their awakening.
Convert them. And
yeah.
that deep radio voice was that of Josh. Josh, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
I'm the vice president. So I came to ASU a few years ago. I met people such as Cody, who kind of brought me into the Republican circle, kind of to see what's going on. So I'm from California, so LA. So there's not really a group of Republicans really, as you're pretty much surrounded by a sea of blue. So
Really?
Coming here was kind of like an interesting factor to see like-minded thinkers like that supported Republican and conservative values. So I thought that's one aspect I could bring to crew is someone with kind of like an experience or like kind of battle hardened, like talking and dealing with liberals and understanding them, understanding where they come from and how you can possibly reach out to them, work with them, and kind of teach the others how it's not really impossible to function when you're just around by them. There's ways to do it and ways to network and strengthen yourself. So that's what I
Josh,
would bring.
how long have you been a Republican?
I would say most of my life, I would argue I was one. I would say because my mother was a Republican. My father's more of a independent-minded man, so he goes more back and forth. But I would say my kind of philosophy kind of evolved over time. I think from, 2012 to, now, my philosophy went from more of a, I would say back then, more of a neoconservative view to more of a, right-wing libertarian or Trump supporter, or more of like a, just full-on conservative, like a Rand Paul or Ron Paul conservative, supporting conservative principles, constitutional conservatism, more of that kind of aspect of conservatism and more supporting the president because he did a lot of things that kind of, promoted, like made me want to come out more and more support my principles and fight for them and represent them. And that's what I wanted to bring to the club, and that's why the club is good because we have more of a diverse nature of that, like different ideologies within the Republican field and the conservative field.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we have Cody, who's been on our show before. Oh, Cody, you know what?
Hey.
We're going to save you. We got 30 seconds. Just say hello, and when you come back, you're going to have more time, okay?
Well, I'm glad to be back. My name's Cody. I used to be the Arizona State University College Republicans president. Now I kind of advise these guys as a graduate. I really like what their message is, and I hope to be more involved.
All right. We can come back. We're going to talk a little bit more to Cody because we had to cut him off. I'm Alice Lara, and here with Johnny Melton, my co-host, and fill in. And we'll be right back with the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio. Please don't go away because we got more to walk on with Crew, College Republicans United. Stay with us.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
All right, we are ready back. We are back. The Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Lara here with Johnny Milton. It sounds like you should be playing the guitar or something. No, Johnny Milton. You know, do you play guitar?
I know. I played brass when I was in.
Oh, is that right?
That was jazz. Yeah, that was what I did.
What did you play?
I played trombone, played sax.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I wasn't good enough to make it a career, so.
I have a lot in my family. Saxophone, things like that.
I miss music's great.
I played in high school.
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. Tower of Power. Do you like Tower of Power? It's an old band. Tower of Power is an old band, but that's good. Good brass. All right. So I want to also, before I don't want to forget, if you live in the South Mountain area, even if you don't live in the South Mountain area of Phoenix, but you live cross country, light rail might be impacting your life. Unfortunately, they want to continue it from downtown Phoenix into my neighborhood, and it's not doing very good. I'm going to read you a little bit more about why that could be a problem. We can talk about that later. But if you like, there is a website, and it's, I think the Facebook site is 4 Lanes No Trains. But if you're interested in getting involved with the movement, because they are going to have an initiative about it, you can email South Mountain, 4 Lanes No Train @gmail.com. And I'll give out more information a little bit later on the show, but that's South Mountain, 4 Lanes, Lanes, No Train @gmail.com. And they were supposed to come in and do the show today, but they couldn't make it. But no worries, because we'll have more information about them. Okay, so I want to get back, because we had to cut off poor Cody. And Cody is here with crew with College Republicans United, and you were telling us about, so you're really more like an advisor to this group now that you're graduated?
Yeah, essentially. Plus, I work full-time, so, it's kind of hard to devote full-time to this, but if they have any advice, due to my past experiences being an officer in a College Republican organization, I give them my 2 cents, I'll tell them if they want to do something, whether it violates school policy or not, or, just general advice, tips on tabling, recruiting new members, outreach, stuff like that.
Are you actively doing things in politics yourself right now, besides this?
Not necessarily. Most of my free time is basically going to the gym and, watching TV, so not all that fulfilling, but I do whatever I can to help them out.
Yeah. We have a few of those guys around, just like, he's not here with us this week. I think he was here the other week, Kevin Dukuiper. So he's another advisor that worked with Cody back in the past. So he's been here, and he's been more hands-on, and he's been a big help to us.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited, because your organization seems to be growing pretty fast.
Correct.
What's your numbers right now? What's the
Well, on our OrgSync account, we have over 200, 300 members.
200.
Wow. Our Facebook group, we're over 120. Our average meetings can bounce around between 10 or 30. It just depends on what we're doing that week. But we have a different number of members that come in each week, so it's not always the same faces. It's people come in, people go. We open it up to everyone who wants to come, so you don't necessarily have to be a student to just observe our events. Right.
So I could go.
You could.
Yeah.
You could.
Could I become a member?
So we have this thing called Republicans United, which is more of the federation end of our college Republicans. That group is going to be for the alumni, for the boomers, for the older crowd that aren't necessarily within the college group.
Or Gen Z.
No Gen
No Gen X.
Yeah. Gen X. I mean, if you want to come back to ASU and get another degree, you might look the other way.
Oh.
Everyone can come back to degrees, triple
Right.
major and everything.
Well, you are pretty busy because you have meetings every week. I
Right.
see. I still haven't been able to make one, but you've had some really good speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you having next?
So next week we are going to have the former president of the College Republicans. He is now a regional director for the NRA, and we're going to have the regional manager for the NRA. She'll be in with us. So they are going to give everyone a free membership for a year with the NRA, plus material
Wow.
for education, ask questions. They'll give out prizes for answering those questions. But just really more of an outreach and getting people interested in the organization itself.
What's the climate on ASU? Do you guys feel like you're kind of counterculture to that? I mean, is it how progressive is it? What's the temperature there at ASU?
Well, we table every week too. So we have students will walk by and we have a cutout of Donald Trump. We've had a security guard who works at ASU ask our member here to purchase it with the purpose of taking it home and shooting it. That's an ASU employee, and then we have faculty there that aren't exactly enthusiastic about us existing on campus, and you have students that walk by and who will scuff and look at us and give us dirty looks. So
we even had one person come in, one person walk up to the cutout and even punch it just because it's Trump and
very
I guess
mature.
Structuring private property.
I will say this though, ASU definitely isn't Cal State Berkeley.
Right.
Comparatively, we're pretty conservative for a public university. So,
but not that much.
Well, there's complacency. I mean, we do have a much larger population than Berkeley, but their college Republican chapters are much larger than anything else that's found in Arizona. And I think a large part is a lot of conservatives don't feel the need to reach out to an organization or be a part of it because we're still a red state. Granted, we are turning more purple, and that might be why our club exists, because there is that shift towards being purple, but we need to get active and make sure that we stay red.
I think you really do, and especially having your presence out there. So, are you having more people when 'cause you're very active? I see you doing a lot of stuff. Do you feel like there are more young people that are coming out there and say, hey, you know what? I'm a Republican too, or I might want to be a Republican.
Well, there's a lot of people that are unhappy with the Republican Party, but they're happy with Trump, and they're happy with the conservative movement. It's just that we tend to look at the party and we see people like Jeff Flake or Lindsey Graham, and we feel that they don't represent the party, but the party establishment seems to be propping them up and gives them a voice when their followers are much smaller.
A lot of people have stereotypes about the party. Whenever you mention it, the first thing that usually comes to their head is either, the nasty stuff they think about Trump, or, the old narrative that, kind of hurt the party was just the whole George W. Bush era.
Country club.
Yeah, the country club, and that's the image every single
Very rich,
person.
lots of money.
Yeah, and that's pretty
racist.
much, that's the image they get, and our job has been to try to break that image and kind of show like how we've, modernized, how we've outreached, how, who we support is, good, in the times, and how, it doesn't have to be that way, and that how they can contribute is, just be themselves, just learn the conservative values, bring what you can teach other people on top of that. We're not going to be like restricting what, you can say or how it can be, or, showing that, we're not the party of, 2000, what we grew up in, like in high school, where it was just a constant barrage of negativity towards the GOP, or, growing up during the Obama era in high school, there was only like, one way of thinking allowed in school during our age, so.
It sounds like you've really been impacted by this Trump. I was just reading something, and I'm sure you've seen it out there. And this is a really old movie you guys are not going to know, but you know who Clint Eastwood is?
Yeah. Of course.
Natla, Josie Wales. Well, some people believe, President Trump has kind of a roughshod style, shall I say. However, I don't think anybody else could have accomplished what he's done because he just doesn't care. He just will do what he has to do. I mean, is that kind of, what do you guys think about Trump?
Well, Trump has really spoken to a lot of conservatives that have felt a certain way but weren't really pandered to, I would say. The American worker, for example, we've lost manufacturing for the past decades. And a lot of people have not seen a pay increase in the same amount of time. And here's a lot of people have said that manufacturing's gone, we'll never get it back, we need to shift to a service kind of industry. And then Trump comes along and says, no, manufacturing can come back to the States. We can challenge China and their wage laws and their policies, and we can make the country better. We can make it great again. And you saw this in Michigan, you saw this in Pennsylvania. There were a lot of conservatives who were living there for such a long time but didn't vote, had no reason to vote, and Trump gave them the reason to go out in the polls. And that's the same thing that we're seeing at ASU with our club.
Good. Awesome. Armin, I wanted to ask you, are you going to be running the Prather Point during the commercial time? Okay. Coming up? Okay, so I just want to say that we're trying a new thing, and we're running our Jeff Prather with the Prather Point during the commercial, so we make sure that we get it in. And he's got a really good one, so I really want you to pay attention to it. And basically, he's talking about, he says, you know, the Dems, they aren't just trying to win elections. His claim is they're trying to stay out of jail. Now, do you guys know who Jeff Prather is? I don't know if you've been following our show. He's on every week. And Jeff used to work, he's a Fast and Furious whistleblower, and he still has friends down there in the swamp. So he has a lot of information that gets fed to him. And I started listening to him a couple of years ago, it was on another radio show. And I'm like, this guy, man, I mean, conspiracies, I don't know, he's out there. But he would say things, and then a month or two later, they'd come out on the news as true. So it's really worth a listen if you can. Okay, so we probably got like down to our minute that we have. Okay, so when we come back, I'd like to talk more about the political issues and things like that. And where are the women today? I know you have girl members.
We do. We were actually with one earlier today. Her name is Michaela Brassfield. She's a new member. She works with the GOP. She's currently right now out in the streets collecting more signatures and passing out more information. So
fantastic. Tell everybody what you guys were doing this morning.
Josh, want to jump in?
Yeah, we were going out canvassing. Good. I mean, we were going out. Well, that's what we've been doing this whole week. So, you know, I don't know. Rick has been one of the guys that's been going out supporting the GOP. Like last week, we went out supporting some of the GOP candidates, like Day of Action with, you know, supporting Martha McSally, supporting Governor Ducey. I think this was in LD17 over in Chandler. So, you know, we were over there. I guess we went into one we went into more of the blue area go in. So we got some kind of interest. I got to see some interesting responses. So from you know, talking to a few of the guys, like some that were hardcore Republican, there were a lot of hardcore Trump supporters, but then there were a lot of hardcore liberals that were like kind of split on certain things.
And I'm going to have to break in here because we have a hard break we have to get to. When we come back, we'll talk more politics here with crew. That's College Republicans United and my fill-in co-host Johnny Melton. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Alice Lara, so stay tuned for more of the Chips and Salsa Show here on Center Right Radio, because you know what? We are right here for you to walk on. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, Jeff Prather here, ex-government insider, now living outside the box, speaking truth to power on the Chips and Salsa Show with this week's Prather Point. The Dems continue to descend into chaos. Their next possible chairman, Keith Ellison, is under charges of domestic violence about his girlfriend. He's also a Muslim. While they ignore that real story, they continue to make stories up. And this is because the Democratic Party, which used to be a legitimate party, has been hijacked by the socialist, communist, collectivist left wing, and they cannot reveal their true intentions. So years ago, when I was a Fast and Furious whistleblower, and I accused the DEA and the head of the DEA, the two heads of that, Tandy and Leonhardt, who I had worked with at the Department of Justice when I was trying to extradite a Sinaloan cartel leader, of destroying my case, they turned around and targeted me and created a phony investigation. When that went nowhere after 5 years, and tens of thousands of dollars on my part, and they could not find any charges to ever charge against me as, first they went after me as a cult leader, and then they went after me as a sexual predator. Sound familiar? Then they never even charged me, and I never had a bad evaluation. So that's one reason why I can even predict what is happening with Trump, because the same thing they did to me, they are doing to Trump. And they do it over and over and over. Most of the FBI terrorism cases of the last decade have been entrapment-created cases where they found some hapless, dissatisfied Muslim guy and turned him into a terrorist. Because real investigations are difficult and hard. And that is what we saw with Fast and Furious. That's what we saw with Benghazi. That's what we saw with Syria. That's what we saw with the NSA. That's what we saw with the IRS. And that's what we're seeing now with Judge Kavanaugh. I have a very close friend who was at the Kavanaugh hearings saying he saw the Democratic committee members meeting with the lawyers outside, who then paid off the protesters, who would then go from one demonstration to another, rotate in, and the walls there turn so the police can come out. So that the film, it's a contrived show. They film the protesters there. Then when the police are really serious about something, the wall panels turn. The police come through the wall panels. They know exactly who's on. They make sure they're staying off camera. They let them do their protest. Then they come and get them. My friend was there with a Christian prayer group, which was not allowed to sing publicly, where the left-wing protesters are. Although they did have their supporters, and they certainly did make a difference. But that's how contrived this show is. Everybody knows what's going on, and it's a fake show for the public. And that's the same thing that's going on as the Dems now call for the corrupt and clownish FBI to do an investigation. Give me a break. That's not going to happen. The Dems aren't trying to win elections. They're trying to stay out of jail. And I don't think they're going to be doing a much better job of it in the near future. This is Jeff Prather with this week's Prather Point on the Chips and Salsa Show. For more Prather, go to jeffreyprather.com.
Vote against health care reform.
Power hitters, because McCain was the most powerful
guy
that ran
He
for
still
president.
is. I mean, look how they revered him after he passed away. They acted like, the Pope died.
He got a lot of attention.
Is this funeral over yet?
Well, they have a 24-hour news camera on him now, don't they? Waiting for him to rise back.
Kane returns.
Are we back now?
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. I'm Alice Lara. We are back here with the Chips and Salsa Show. This is already segment 3, isn't it, Armin?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Do I need to move the microphone? They probably can hear you, huh?
Yeah, I have a loud voice.
All right. We've decided to also bring on Armin. And, this is how we found our incredible intern, Armin, because Rick Thomas reached out to me. And he said, hey, we'd like to be on a show. I think it was Charles Loftus.
Right. Yeah. He's our advisor.
He connected us, right. And then so we had you on, and then Armin texted me, and he's been doing a great job. We appreciate it. Oh, he's so good. Thank you, Armin. So I like to call him our incredible intern. So thank you. And by the way, if anybody else would like to help us out on the show, we don't make any money. So we have wonderful guys like Johnny Melton come and help us co-host. We're still doing that. Maybe one day we will. It's hard, but for the most part, this is really more just like a political cause, and that's why we do it. So we were talking, having some interesting conversation during the break about conservative Republicans and why there's kind of a bad taste out there. Why don't you just continue that conversation a little bit, Johnny, if you would?
Yeah,
put you on the spot?
No, it's
Johnny on the spot. Sorry, I had to use that. I had to use that.
So there's an interesting within the right wingosphere, right, and in our universe, there's often a notion that comes up that Republicans are not on board with Trump, and that's there's when you look at with John McCain, when he unfortunately wasn't there for us on healthcare reform, that comes to mind. Yes, there's some the Republicans, the budget process still isn't fixed. So I get that, and there's plenty of examples. There's little examples like that, but I don't understand. What my question was, where does this notion come from that that Republicans aren't on board? I mean, and another thing, I think it's the wrong way of looking at it, right? Because the president's job is
Now, when you say Republicans, you mean Republicans in general, or are you talking about the elected Republicans?
I think when this topic comes up, people are specifically talking about lawmakers in Congress. I think, and it's weird because there's been a lot of real progress. A lot of Obama's regulatory legacy has been chipped away. That is a work with Congress and the president, administration.
Well,
judges. I mean, more judges have been confirmed in the past 20 weeks than have been. I don't think there's a point in history where we can look at that and say how many. So the conservative legal project is coming to fruition as we speak. That is a concerted effort between the Congress and the White House. So I guess my point is, I think that this notion that Republican lawmakers are not on board with Trump. I don't know. I think there's. I don't know if that's a sincere.
I honestly, it's an elitist view. You've got a lot of conservatives like your Marco Rubio, your Jeb Bush, the ones that thought that they were entitled to run for president.
Sure.
And you had this upstart Trump who came in with no political experience, no history of political activism except for like the Reform Party, and he stole the show and stole their thunder.
You can say the same with Obama back in 2008, where he came essentially out of nowhere and stole the nomination, essentially from Hillary, and knocked her out when everyone thought she was going to be the nominee back then. When him, a political newcomer, a junior senator out of Illinois, came out, won it, stole the thunder, and became the star of the Democratic Party.
I will also say this: unfortunately for them, at least, fortunately for the rest of us, Trump is now the face of the Republican Party. So if they still want to get elected, still want to keep their jobs, still want to make money being politicians, they probably don't really have a choice but to support his agenda, even if that means mouthing him openly.
And yeah, I think that's mostly what it is it might not necessarily be that they are actively opposing him in every respect, but that it's just a leftover feeling from the election when he was seen as like some kind of ridiculous man that was never going to make it anywhere. And so looking back at how everyone treated him, it's kind of hard to look at those same people and now accept that they're on his side.
I think that's a really good point.
But I guess I'll push back a little bit because it's not his side. He's the Republican. His job is to support the conservative movement.
When they oppose him, though, and with such veracity, I think it gets a perception. And you know what? Here it is too. You know what? I think this is important too. The Democrats, they're really good. They have problems too. They have problems within their party, and there's fighting. Can you imagine? You have this really far left socialist, and there's still. I want to believe there's some Democrats that aren't that far left, but they seem to be so good about hiding all their infighting.
Oh, they're excellent.
I don't think it's hidden very well. It's very public.
But they don't have the same perception.
Passive aggressiveness, I would say.
What's that?
It's like more passive aggressiveness with the Democrats.
Oh no, there's absolute infighting within this. There's a movement in the Democratic Party that is the Sanders, who is, you consider him as a spiritual leader, is jerking
but
that
he's
party.
not even a Democrat anymore.
Nonetheless, he still is the intellectual and spiritual leader of the party.
Well, just because he's not a Democrat anymore, he has that one girl. I think it's Amelia. I forget that hyphen. Yeah, Ocasio-Cortez. She's pretty much the new version of him. So
you're cussing again.
So my point is that their party, the Democratic Party, is absolutely in some turmoil in intellectual turmoil where they are. They have to. They're now looking at this young. These insurgents coming up who really want to pull this party further left than they can possibly imagine, and that's gonna cost them, whatever blue wave is coming, that magnitude will be tempered by part of this fact that they.
And a great example.
Missouri is not going to elect the socialists.
A great example of that is right in our own state. We have Congresswoman Martha McSally running against Congresswoman Sinema. And Sinema, if you look at her, oh my goodness, she is just a conservative, and she wants the wall, and she wants all that.
Let's pretend that she was never part of the Green Party back in 2002.
Has communist ties.
Right.
Oh, that.
Well, the other thing is, like, the New York Times called her a moderate, like, in the polling.
Because, protesting against the troops in Afghanistan before even the Iraq War, that was such a moderate thing back in 2002.
So it's they just have this appearance thing where the Democrats appear as if they're moderates, and if you listen to what they're saying, it's like you're like, oh my God, they're insane. But it's the Obama phenomenon where they're well spoken, so people are
They're
like
labeled moderates because the media doesn't hold them accountable to anything.
Yeah.
They ignore everything that radical they say, and they just highlight the good parts.
Yeah, and
they're just flashy. It's just an appearance thing. They just look normal, but they're not.
Yeah, and with liberal media, covering for it, it's it makes it sound good, and I can give them credit on that. They've done a good job at hiding that factor to appear like they are, and I think it's one virtue that I think the right should take more notice of is a lot of leftist tactics. Because, if you look at it, I can say Trump learned a lot from the Obama tactics.
He was a Democrat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at it and viewed it, and it's like, okay, I can learn from this. This is how they did that. This is how they did this. I can apply it. If I apply it on my own end, I can probably succeed. And he did a marvelous job at it. I think, too, him being an entertainer, too, he knew what the population was looking for. Being an executive producer in Hollywood, he knows how, people react. He knows how people like to be entertained, what their, emotions are, what kind of pitch point will they pay attention to. And I think that's why, if you go to a Trump rally, it's probably one, for 45 minutes, it's nothing but pure entertainment. And he knows how to keep the audience attention because it's like he's something he learned from the left. It's the same thing from, if you go to an Obama rally, keep them entertained, say things that are, good to keep the audience riled up. Some, drama is actually pretty good because it keeps people like, it keeps their attention spans.
He pumps them up, but he also speaks to the audience. He's directly talking to them. He doesn't get up there and speechify. Yeah. He's having a conversation. My question, do you think the Republican Party uses enough of the ammo that's happening on the left?
No.
No. We don't, do we?
In fact, I would go even further to say, before Trump got elected, the main thing coming from Republican presidential candidates, rather it would have been Mitt Romney, John McCain, was, let's try to appease the Democrats. Let's try to, let's try to make us not look so quote unquote bad as
we don't want to look mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe if I would just bend down my views a little bit, they won't call me a racist, which, as we know, is a bunch of baloney. So
whereas Trump took the opposite approach. I would say a lot of Republicans before were just constantly on the defense, which you can't win anything with the defense. Whereas Trump, I would say if you know anything about basketball, he kind of took a Mike D'Antoni view of things, half the defense and double the offense. Yeah. And he took it to them, and it was a good thing because they never expected it. And, it was like, how do you handle someone that, just won't back down, won't apologize, will double down on it, went the opposite and just said, I don't care. Let's see what else do you got? So,
I'm curious. You don't have to answer this now, but I'm curious. I would love to know if President Trump had the advantage of running against the worst candidate ever. You could not design in a factory, in a laboratory, a worse candidate.
Oh, but she was supposed to win.
Yeah.
She was going to be the winner.
Why was she not 40 points ahead?
Right, but I mean, if there was, she was so flawed. That was a good advantage. That was a huge advantage for Trump. Could Trump have beaten Biden?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he could have beat one. Probably.
Or generic, whoever that is.
Yeah, he probably could have. I think one of the other things, too, is, as you saw in 2014, Obama still didn't have, a huge popularity, as they still try to say, because, that's how Republicans took back the Senate, was just, Democrats wouldn't even run on Obama's name back in 2014, and he even gave them permission to say, just do what you have to win. So,
they're still saying that. That's still the strategy.
Well, remember, Obama had a hard time against Clinton back in 2008. Yeah. She was a formidable opponent.
Yeah, she was.
She was winning at first,
And it wasn't just a two-person race. There were other people on the ballots that were running too, and none of them got anywhere close to them.
I'd also like to say that, Democrats in the Midwest, such as Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, they were not the same Democrats you see in Manhattan, Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle. They were more blue-collar Democrats. Look at Conor Lamb, for example. He was able to win because he was more of a moderate. And you have all these far-left candidates, whether it be Obama or Bernie or, Joe Biden. I don't think they would have appealed in such states, even with those Democrat demographics.
I think Trump would have lost.
You asked earlier, you said...
you think you would have lost against Biden?
I think Trump only would have won against Hillary. And I think one of the signs that point to that is that he lost the popular vote.
Okay, but if you take California out of that equation, Trump wins the popular vote as well.
Yeah, but Can't do that. Anyway, interrupted you, Chase.
Well, I was going to say earlier, you said, it's not really the Republican Party's job to work for Trump. It's Trump's responsibility to work for the Republican Party.
The electorate.
In the sense that he's the president
He's
of
the leader.
party.
It's close.
And
it's
he's
close.
the highest leader of the Republican Party.
Yeah, so I was trying to understand, that question. And I guess to me, it's almost like I wasn't a huge fan of the Republican Party before, so I don't mind if he takes over it. It's only really him specifically that I like. And it's not even necessarily... Oh, we gotta finish
Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, for me, a lot of it was just that he broke political correctness. The first thing we need for a good democracy is the ability to speak freely. And for so long, everyone was bending down to the left because they were afraid to say what they need to say. And I guess it's just my reverence for him because of that that's never gone away.
And see how nice we are. We let libertarians speak on here, too. We're going to make you Republican. Okay.
Working on it.
Right on.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be back for our last segment. Don't go away. I'm Alice Latta with Johnny Melton.
That's right.
And we'll be back with crew, College Republicans United, here on the Chips and Salsa Show, Center Right Radio, right here for you.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Turn off the fake news and turn on Center Right Radio. Online now at centerright.live.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
You're listening to America's favorite political discussion on Center Right Radio.
You were going to say something, though, before we start talking about trains.
We're back, though.
And we are back here on the Chips and Salsa Show. I'm Alice Latta. I can't believe it's been a really good show because we're down to our last segment. It's just moving fast.
Feels like 5
fast.
minutes.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so I don't want to finish the show. It doesn't look like we're going to have time for the cocotazos. But I want to say thank you to Sonia. We might sneak them in because I don't want to leave this wonderful, fine group without talking about the Kavanaugh chaos. What's going on, okay? All right? So I think the latest is she is going to testify on Monday. Does anybody know?
It's reported, CNN reported about 4 hours ago that Professor Ford has reached out with her attorneys to say that I accept, I do want to come in, but has not nailed down a date. So
who's in control here? Who's running the show?
Well,
Seems like she is.
That's a very fair question, but I think more importantly is if we want to give Professor Ford a benefit of the doubt, I think we should. It stands to reason that she would want to account, provide her account under oath, and let the American public or the Senate Judiciary consider this. And we're scratching our heads wondering why she's not. She's done. She says she wants to, but it seems like she's trying to kind of play chess with Grassley, and it's not clear as to why. Right? It's not. Is it? And you brought up who's controlling this? Who's running the show? Does she not want to actually do this? Was she compelled? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where to stand on this because I don't know who's, because the Senate Democrats, it feels like they don't want her to go. You know what I'm saying? All the bad faith arguments, and it just feels like they don't want her. It feels like they think that the best strategy is for her to just not go, just stay out, don't testify, and let us use this.
Leave that accusation hanging out.
Oh,
because
I see. Leave the accusation without actually having
exactly
evidence for it.
because if you look at the proxy fights that are happening, they're happening because it's as if this fight is going on absent these two central characters of Kavanaugh and Professor Ford. It's really weird.
Well, I want to get you guys' take because all this happened. She was at Georgetown, right, when all this happened,
Correct,
and
yeah.
you guys were in college age. What do you guys think about
Well,
this?
first, you're innocent until proven guilty, first and foremost.
Should
This
be.
happened back when he was 17, so let's be honest. He was a horny, heterosexual teenager.
It should be pointed out he denies this. He's not.
Oh,
he is
and
not-
wait, before you go on too,
Yeah.
did you see there's a posting and it's him and this other guy that looked just about like they're twins. They were going to school at the same time in all the same circumstances. Anyway, just throwing that in there. But go ahead.
So let's be honest. Like, what the Democrats are trying to do is they're trying to delay this as long as possible so that possibly the new Congress takes over and then they can vote him out and go through a different candidate. For her to testify now, they would go through this process very quickly and he would be confirmed. So they have to delay this. They don't want her to testify. They will insinuate as much as they can. They'll have an FBI investigation, which the FBI has already said that there's nothing to investigate. This would happen so
And
long
haven't
ago.
they already investigated him for other things, or it's gone through what 6 or 7 background checks? Yeah.
I'd just like to make 2 points here. One, Brett Kavanaugh has been in the public eye for so many years. Why is this just coming out? And 2, they would have done this to anyone whose name wasn't Merrick Garland. So
yeah,
you
and I think it's also a bit ridiculous to kind of like look at the kid when he was 17. It's like they're trying to judge him at that age. It's like we all was 17 at not that long ago, literally a few years ago, and it's like I can only imagine some of the dumb things we did as kids or the injuries.
Even I can remember.
Yeah,
and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say personally, I don't like that excuse.
Well, no, I think it is.
You're entitled to your opinion.
But I think yeah, they should just go ahead, do the testimony or whatever, and see what happens.
So your frontal lobe of your brain doesn't stop developing until like your mid-20s to your late 20s.
25. Armin just turned 25, right?
But see, that's like that. The frontal lobe is all about the judgment and your rational cognitive development of your perception. So if he was 17 at this time, he wasn't an adult. He wasn't of the right judgment. Does that destroy all of his accomplishments since then? Since he got his law degree, since he was part of the Bush administration, since he's been a judge, does that destroy everything? Is that really irrelevant?
Just to be clear, I just so the audience knows, again, Judge, that is a interesting argument if assuming he did it, right? But to be clear, Judge Kavanaugh has sworn under oath that he did not. He
denies it.
So I just want to be.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But
but even if he did,
it's a non-issue.
Right.
Even if he had.
So I got to know because Judge Kavanaugh, he's being his career and his good name is being imperiled by a 35-year-old allegation. I'm wondering, if I'm college age right now, I'm thinking, what are you guys thinking? Like, you guys think about what you do on the weekends? Like,
did you?
One of you, I'm telling you right now, 10 years from now, one of you's going to be a candidate for something.
Oh, so I hope.
Yeah,
I hope so.
No. So what You know what I'm saying? Like, do you guys think about what you do on the weekends?
Oh,
Apparel your record.
Are you drinking less these days?
Well, that's the thing. I can only imagine what happens in 20 years when people start pulling up like what we said on MySpace back in the 2000s, or Facebook, or God forbid, like
Text messages.
It's all there, and you guys, it's all there.
Oh
now.
yeah, or like when you're playing video games, and then they said, "Oh, we somehow had a recording of you saying something after you lost a match."
I mean,
you know,
have you
it's
gone
like,
through?
oh my God.
Have you gone through Arvin's like Instagram account? It's probably horrible.
Oh yeah.
That's the one
Yeah.
thing
It's like, oh my God. Like they got a lot of these baseball players on stuff they said back when they were in high school, and it's like, I was like, geez, man, I can see what, you know. Or they said, you know, some of these YouTubers, like when they're online playing games and all of a sudden, you know, like PewDiePie, they say something they shouldn't because, you know, they rage or something happened. It's like, you know, that's what we're probably going to be seeing if, like, years in the future, if we ever try to run for something that comes up.
Well, yeah, I don't know if anyone here watches football, but Buffalo Bills quarterback, he's a rookie, Josh Allen. I heard some things where he slipped in the draft because they discovered some tweets he made when he was 17, and he was saying some obscene things. He wasn't saying anything like racist or politically incorrect, but he was saying like, he was making like sexual jokes, for example.
Okay.
And they were worried that he was going to fall in the draft because of that. So
For me, though, I don't watch anything I do. Like, I don't censor myself because the way I see
Because you're
it,
a libertarian.
Well, yeah, that, but also
You're gonna get screwed.
Because the way I see it is, if you try to regulate your behavior in a way that's not how you would normally act, then you're going to end up looking like a hypocrite because there's going to be times when you accuse other people and that sort of thing. So to me, it's just like, I'm going to say what I want. If someone accuses me of it later, well, you know, maybe the general public doesn't like that. That's my problem if they don't like me.
So you think human nature should not be tempered by social norms? I know it's a very counter-libertarian argument. I don't know.
I don't know about that because there are some important norms, like respecting people's personal space and that sort of thing.
Laws.
But I don't know if those are necessarily norms, or if you want to argue from the libertarian standpoint that those are basic facts of nature.
Yeah.
So
I want to go and ask you guys predictions. How do you think this thing's going to turn out?
I'll start. Well, regardless of, and right now it looks like, you know, unless something changes, I think Judge Kavanaugh is confirmed next week, or at least gets out of the committee and will go on confirmation, unless something new information comes out. But whatever happens, regardless of that, there really is there's nothing good that's coming out of this. Unfortunately, like the best case scenario is that the political discourse in our nation has reached a new low. This is the behavior by the Democrats is it's appalling.
And that's what every American really should be.
It's very troubling to see, and the left of center commentary. If you read it, and I do. I can admit that. That's fine. I do, so you don't have to. So I mean, they are openly, like the New York Times, openly defending this illiberal behavior of a once liberal party, and it's very troubling. And the worst case scenario is that this could do lasting damage to the Me Too movement if you're looking at it as a moment of
I want to
moral
say
pressure.
quickly that I'm embarrassed for my gender, for these women. Well, I believe her. Come on.
I want to say one
thinking.
thing.
Let's look at the evidence.
So there was a poll, like 49% of Americans think Trump should, like the Democrats should go ahead with impeachment. I don't think this country deserves Brett Kavanaugh. So I think if he doesn't get the nomination because of something stupid like this, I think America deserves it.
It was brought upon us because of
Interesting point. Okay, guys, we just got a few minutes. Predictions?
I think Jeff Flake is going to pull a McCain, and even though he's probably for Kavanaugh, I think he'll vote against him despite Trump. And I think that enough Republicans might even jump on board on that viewpoint.
And we need that vote for him to pass.
We do.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think possibly like Mitch McConnell could get possibly a last minute deal to get Jeff Flake in line. And I think he'll probably be confirmed. Possibly he may have a speech kind of similar to Justice Thomas, where he had to deal with it back in the 90s. And I think one of the things that this kind of shows again that I think we all, and especially in school, need to reread To Kill a Mockingbird because, this stuff is pretty serious. And that's like kind of the perfect irony that shows what happens when, you throw accusations like this around. It's like, you know, an innocent man could possibly suffer from this.
I love, Josh, that you brought that up. And
Yeah.
if you don't have time to read the book, watch the movie. The movie
Yeah.
is great.
Oh, yeah.
With Gregory Peck.
Well, I have 2 points. I forgot the first point I was going to make. So, I'll just go to my second point. First, the argument I keep hearing all the time is, oh, well, what if it was your daughter? Well, I like to counteract. What if it was your son who was about to do this very great human achievement and it gets taken away due to baseless accusations? And now that I remember my second point, I'd just like to say that these false accusations do nothing to help women who have actually been, you know,
assaulted.
It's really happened to him. And
because it delegitimizes their credibility, even if it totally happened to them.
That's a very
Even
very possible outcome of this thing.
You're absolutely right. I really like that point.
Sorry.
Guys, we have to cut it off. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, crew, for coming in. College Republicans United. Give out your email real quick.
Oh, it's ASU.collegerepublicansunited@gmail.com.
That's Rick Thomas. I'm Alice Latta with
Johnny Melton, and I'm going to come here next time George doesn't show up.
Right On. Be with us again next Saturday, 4 p.m. here at the Chips and Salsa Show on Center Right Radio. Thank you very much, Chipsters, and please keep watching our Facebook site and sharing away. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Come back, okay?
Subscribe.
That was a very beautiful. So what I was going to say to you was you made a comment about